All right, so elimination, pretty much, it's a little different because they're stacked. So you have like the X's together, the Y's, and the numbers. That's how you know that it's elimination. So what you have to do is you have to make sure it's the same number that's in front of the variable. Same number, opposite sign. So if you want to write yourself a note, it's hard to make a note when zoomed in this far. Same number, opposite sign. So does anybody see anything that's almost the same number, opposite sign? Takers?
So you can times 1 line by -1.
Good. So the 3's are really, really close. They're the same number. So I can see you guys and also you can hear me. I'll take that down. These, if you multiply one of the equations by -1, Ashlyn is right. That is going to be your missing piece. So what happens if I multiply all the ones on the bottom by -1? Good. They're going to turn into positives. And you can use your calculators to check that if you need to. Okay. The reason we multiply by -1 is because these are the same number, but they're both negative. So if we want them to cancel, they have to be opposites. So we need one to be a positive, one to be a negative. All right. Once you multiply through by -1, you can cross this equation out because you no longer need to use it. And then all you have to do is draw yourself a little bar and go ahead and add up the X's and the Y's. So what is -6x plus 7x? You guys are too quick for my water sipping abilities. X, good. So we can put a 1 in front of it if we want as a placeholder, or we can just write X. Does anyone know what happens with the 3's? They cancel. Good. So we can cross them out. Bring down our equal sign. -12 plus 9. Anybody got that in their calculator? Pretty sure it's 3, but I don't know if it's negative or positive. Oh, good. Those signs can be tricky, so the calculators can be helpful if you just plug it into your calculator. You didn't miss much so far. All we did on number 3 on page 17 is multiply the bottom one by -1. That's all we did so far. And then we actually added them together too. So after you multiply the bottom equation by -1, we were able to cancel out the Y's since one's positive, one's negative. We call that a 0 pair, I think. And then we went ahead and added. If X is by itself and it's just got a 1, do you have to divide by 1? No. You could if you want, but you don't have to. Do you think I'm done with my problem? Or is there something else I have to do? Does it have an X and a Y? This one's from yesterday, so I gotta cover that. Does it have a Y value? Anybody see a Y value in there? I didn't solve for it yet. So you're gonna take this -3 and you've got to find your Y. I already crossed out the bottom equation. Okay, so you can use the bottom one if you have it, but I was like, don't spray too much because this man has got allergies and she'll just start coughing all over you. So feel free to do a good DO spray in the bathroom. My videos always have to have something funny, you know me. So this -3 right here, I think I'm gonna plug in the top one. Where do you think it's gonna go if it says X equals? Perfect. Oh yeah, please do, please do.
So you add the lines?
After you make sure, after,
Once
you just add
cancel
'em.
out ones, you
Mhm.
add them.
yeah, so if you have on those blue calculators on your desks, guys, just do -6 plus 7. And then you'll get 1. And then like -12 plus 9, and you'll get -3. Excellent question. When you ask a question, who knows, that person who had to quarantine or that person who's out sick, maybe they have that same question. So it's actually really good that they're able to listen in on you guys' questions. All right, good job, Mac. We're gonna plug in that -3 for X because it says X equals. Very good. So what do we know about this? What's able to be worked out here? Yeah, the parentheses. So if we have -6 times -3, any takers on that and the good old calculator? Mhm. Good, good. 18 minus 3y equals -12. Good deal. Okay. Subtract your lonely number. Good. Think if we do that in our calculator, it's 30 something.
30,
-30. Okay. Elimination was always just a tad harder for me to do. Is it a positive 10? Okay. Negative divided by negative is positive. You are 100% correct. Very good, Mac. Very good. That one looks like a lot of work. If you don't have enough paper when you're doing these, feel free to grab yourself scrap paper. We got construction, different color paper. We got paper over there. Yeah. Yeah, you're good. See, you're getting my system. Thank you for waiting until Mac was back. See, you got my system. Very nice, very nice. Hit focus on that. Is that, can everybody see it okay on there? The whole picture? Okay. So yeah, every answer should have an X and a Y. I guess there are some one-off situations where you can't solve the problem, but I'll let you know if that happens. We're not going to do the ones at the bottom with the 3. I got the clear to skip that from Miss Josie. She's taught algebra 2. I taught it 3 years ago when I used to work here the first time. I went to Purdue for a little bit to work. But when she taught it, she skipped over those. So I'm just going to follow her lead to make sure we get through everything. So when you look at an equation, you always have to multiply unless you see opposite. Like, so if you saw opposite 3s in the beginning, you could just cross them out and add right away. But if they're not opposite, then you have to multiply by something. So when you look at number 4, I'm gonna put a little 1 there.
That's gonna be 3x.
I'm not gonna post it.
2y.
So if we add them straight down, is anything canceling?
No.
So we're just gonna end up with another equation. Is there something we could multiply one of the equations by to get the same number? Let me rewrite that so you guys can see it okay. So if I wanted to make, look at those X's. If I wanted to make them the same number, but opposite, is there something I could multiply the bottom equation by?
-1.
-2. Okay, was that you, Ivy? Good job.
You could just do it by 2.1,
If you do it by 2,
because you'll have the -2y.
oh, good point, Ashlyn. So you could do it by +2 if you want to cancel the y's, because then you'll have the same 4. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people try to cancel x's first because it's a little easier. But either way is fine. So Ashlyn, go ahead and do your problem that way with a +2, and we'll do ours with the negative. And we'll see if we get the same answer. That is number 4 on page 17. Yeah, you're good, you're good. I know once you're on a roll, it's easier to stick with the same paper. I'll try to be more consistent with that for you guys. But yeah, it'll be easier to stay on track too for us, I think. So if I multiply by -2.
Where'd you get the -2 from?
Oh, good question, good question. So Ivy was the one who mentioned that. Do you want to tell him or do you want me to tell him? Okay, I'll tell him. So the reason that she did -2 is you see how there's a 2x on the top and a 1x on the bottom. I want them to be the same number, but opposite signs. So I want them to be the same exact number in front of x, but one's positive and one's negative. So if I multiply the bottom by 2, then the x's won't cancel, which is what she's trying to go for. But if I make it a negative, what's going to happen here is this is going to become a -2x, and then those x's will cancel. Kind of weird little trick. Ooh, yeah, you always got to be careful with that one. It'd be very dangerous. Alrighty. Did that help, Ariante? Same number, opposite sign is what you're going for. Yeah, so you have to ask yourself, what do I need to multiply that bottom one by in order to get the same number but opposite? Yeah, yeah. Anyone know what -2 times -2 is?
4.
Yep. So we gotta distribute. This is a common mistake that a lot of people make, but you have to do -2 times all 3, even the last one. So what do we think? Good, good. After you distribute, you can like scribble out that bottom equation, but I just want to make sure, is everybody all right with why we picked -2?
No, not really.
Okay, so you see how this is a 1 and this is a 2?
Well, no, I know that.
Oh.
I don't.
But why is it negative?
No. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, gotcha. Once you've distributed, you can just take your pen or pencil and cross out that equation, because now it's this bad boy.
Yeah, but I'm talking about how to get rid of the -2.
Gotcha. So go ahead and bust out your calculators and do 2 plus -2 and see what you get. Okay, so that is gone.
Yeah, but don't we gotta do it to the other side too?
Nope.
No?
You just have to get rid of just X or just Y.
Mhm.
Now, if they both cancel, we'll talk about that, but in general, that doesn't really happen. What about the force? Doing my best to stay hydrated because my sinuses are inflamed, so it's not COVID, it's hormones. It's hormones, yeah. So if you can't hear me well or you need something repeated, let me know.
It's gonna be 2.7.
Okay. Oh, it turns out a decimal?
Yep.
Dang,
For the -14, 22?
really?
I got it. Huh? Yeah, for -14 plus 22.
Yeah, because if you have
Oh,
a
yeah,
negative
yeah.
positive, yeah. That plus that negative button in your calculators is golden. It's very, very helpful. It's just golden. It's so helpful. It makes all my integer problems go away. Yeah, cool. Elimination's a little tricky. That's why we're gonna practice it here for a while. And I'll go around and help you guys out. If you're like a superstar eliminator and you feel like you're really getting it and you want to do some on one of the whiteboards with someone, I'm okay with it. We have 2. We have plenty of markers.
I'm good at everything else.
Yeah.
Just not elimination. Because when I still was coaching on my tests, I would put pray for me under the.
Elimination was hard for me too. Yeah. It was hard to know what to multiply by, but here's the deal. You just can think about it backwards. Like I want the X's to be the same. So what is that missing piece? You know? You technically have to plug that back in, and Miss Vanda ran out of space. let me move this over a little bit. So I can pick either equation, the top or the bottom, since I kind of scribbled out the bottom one. Let's just plug it into the top one. Stickies are helpful if you're like me and you write really big. Where do you think you're gonna plug the 1 in? Good. There you go. So we're gonna take our 1 and plug it in for y. Okay, everybody see that okay with the pencil? Okay. All right, and then that -14 is still there. How did you get that? I think you're right, but if someone was stuck, how would they solve this 2-step? Okay, good. I think I made a mistake. I think I got something different. If I have -14 and -4, do I get? Do I- I gotta use that calculator, right? That blue calculator. I think you got the right final answer though, right? Did you say 9?
No.
Oh, you said 5. Okay. Okay, my bad. There must be some fluid in the ear or something. Who knows? Sometimes I have a hard time hearing, but yeah, that's why I take it off when I teach. And if you are up here and you're doing a problem, if you want to explain it, it is a good opportunity to, because people won't be able to probably hear you as well. So if you feel safe and comfortable with it, yeah. You don't have to do 5 and 6 on page 17. And I'm gonna leave that up here for when Jenna comes back. What I wanted you guys to work on to make sure I wrote myself a list to keep us on track. Bring this. Oh, I'll bring this. Well, was anybody writing that down still for that one? Okay, I'll pass my paper around for those who need it, my Post-its, but what I was gonna have you guys do, this is just me trying to stay organized with 3-hour classes, sometimes easier to get off track. Like I'll be like, oh, we have so much time, and then I need to remember, like, you guys have so much to learn, 8 weeks. I want to pace it correctly so we're not rushed at the end. But I was thinking we could practice number 3 and 4 on page 25, and then we could do the problems on page 20. And there's not that many, to be honest. So go ahead and practice to make sure you're good first. Or not number 4, just number 3 on page 25. Yeah, just number 3. So you only have 1 on that page. I'm fine with it, as long as it doesn't get too loud. So this can be a test run. So if you're working with someone nearby, this is our test runs. That way, if I'm helping or I'm checking Ariante's paper, then I should be able to like think through Ariante's problem, right? I chose you just because I know you're so go with the flow and chill, but I work with people, right? And I go around, and if I can't hear my thoughts, that's where it's, yeah. But does anybody have questions on what we're gonna